I got to kick this thing off. Can I kick it off? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ladies and gentlemen, listen.
It's all good. It's all good. We told everybody that we're going to be trying some new things with the show. Make sure you go to our IG. There's a little cash app. You can bang some money to us. You know what I mean? So we keep investing in the show and all that. But listen, man. Now, I've been a big fan of this dude, and a lot of people have not. Pastor Jamal Bryant. So a lot of people hate on Jamal because, you know, obviously he's a pastor. He's had a history of, you know, being lecherous and cheating on his wife and, you know, problems with women, you know, not sexual assault, but just he, you know, messing with a lot of women or whatever. And, you know, people have been down on him. Now, one thing that you cannot say about Jamal is he's been down for Black people. He's always been at the forefront of the struggle, speaking out for the Black community. And most recently, he came to light a year ago when he came to the forefront with his, now he's calling it a Target fast. It was the Target boycott. Now it's like the Target fast, right? So last week he went on social media and he said, all right, fast is over. Fast is over. We had 4 things that we asked for and we got 3 of the 4 from Target. So we're calling out the fast. So immediately people was like, yeah, he must have got paid off. Because like, what did Target do that made, you know, us want to say, okay, we about to go back now. So people called him out. And then we'll see, what I didn't know was that there was already a local Target boycott by community activists and organizers in Minnesota, right, with their own separate demands. And then Jamal Bryant, Tamika Mallory, they all came along and it became a national thing, right? Because they had the national notoriety. So when he said, hey, listen, we calling off the fast, the local organizers, Nikema Levy, yeah, she's one of the ones that most outspoken. I saw her Roland Martin talking about this. She was like, no, what are you talking about? Like, how are you speaking for us when we're locally here in Minnesota and Target hasn't even addressed any of the things that we've talked about? And so, you know, you're unserious and people should not be listening to him. And so it created a lot of confusion. Jamal came out and apologized for what he did because he said he didn't read the room and he spoke out of turn. And it's just really been a kind of a stain on his reputation, even though he apologized. And ultimately, I think the Black community falls behind because there's just confusion, right? Nobody knows what's going on. So let's start from the top. First of all, were y'all boycotting Target? And then second of all, what did you think when you saw Jamal say, hey, boycott is over?
I wasn't boycotting, but I also don't shop there really. So, you know me, I hate saying I'm boycotting something by doing something I was already doing anyway. So my stuff comes from Amazon for the most part, just because I don't have time to go into the stores and shopping and stuff like that. But when I heard him say the boycott was over, I just shook my head because it was like, fast. That don't even make sense. And then I hate when people tell other people when to end something. And then if you're going to say we got 3 of the 4 things, what are the 3 things? And who was asking for these 4 things? Like, who approved this list of demands that you claim have been satisfied? So, yeah, I think you got paid off. But y'all know how I feel about pastors being at the forefront of anything anyway. So,
well, I don't know about that because we had Martin Luther King.
Yeah, right. We talked about it.
A lot of other ministers that did a lot of good things for the community. So I can't rock with you on that. But some of the things he's talking about, he wanted $2 billion invested in Black business. He wanted $100 million going into community organizations that impact the Black community, an investment in HBCUs, and then he wanted them to invest in black banks, which is honorable things. Those are worthwhile demands. Now, he said what they did not achieve was the investment in Black banks. and they were 95%, according to Target's reports, towards the $2 billion commitment to black businesses. So that's what he was asking for. So, Lav, what did you think?
Yeah, well, I was someone who was participating in the fast. um,
It
to
started
be
out as a
honest,
40-day fast, and
it
then it
started
turned
out as
into
a
like
40-day fast, and it was,
400-day boycott. Yeah,
and it right, and it. I will say this: I was a heavy Target shopper. I got rid of my Target red card, credit card. I got rid of it. I haven't set foot inside of there since this fast started. I will say that it kind of made me realize I guess I really don't need to go into Target as much as I used to go into it. So while the fast, the boycott, whatever is over, I still wouldn't, I still probably won't go back, as nearly as frequently as I used to go. And not anytime in the near future I can see myself going there.
yeah, I don't see myself going. And the thing that bothers me about a lot of people, and Arika says some of these things, but I know where Arika's coming from, right? Her stance on, well, if I wasn't going, if I don't watch, how can I say I'm boycotting? Okay, I get that. But there are some people that just like, no, I ain't never stopped going. Like,
Yeah.
fuck what y'all talking about. I'm gonna do what I want to do. And there's some people who are like, well, Target ain't ever been bad to me.
Right.
So why would I boycott? And then there's the, well, why Target? Why not Amazon? Why not such and such? And here's the reality of it all, right? The way our economy is set up and the way our community is set up, and I'm talking about the black community, we are not producers in general, right?
Right.
We have small businesses, but we don't have farms. We're not producing food. There's not really that many black owned grocery stores that we can en masse as a black community nationally just move our business to these sites or whatever, right? So you have to make an example out of somebody. You have to show that, okay, listen, we can have solidarity, we can move together, and we can make somebody an example that when you come at our community, there's a price to pay. And for me, what's annoying to me, and me and C used to talk about it all the time, shout out to C, if you don't believe in what we're doing, then just be quiet. Stand to the side.
Right.
You don't have to really, but what are you proving? What are you getting out of it by saying, hey, listen, well, I'm not doing that. And basically what happens is you're creating confusion. And that's not what we need. Do I believe that Mexicans, Asians, white people, do I feel like they're all on one accord when they're going against something? I think the rules come together on one accord for sure. But do I think everybody comes on one accord all the time? No. But what they don't do is create dissension and confusion. They will stand to the side. So that's my issue with the people that was like, well, why the boycott? Why should we do this? Now, Jamal came back and you apologized, but it is mighty suspicious. That's my favorite made up word. It is mighty suspicious, right? That all of a sudden, okay, well, all right, they did part of it, so we're gonna go ahead and call it off. And then you grandstand and you go to DC and you do this video promotion in front of the Target sign. Like, why they need your promotion?
Right.
It didn't make any sense to me.
Well, and another thing though that's kind of, the local organizer saying you don't speak for us and all this. You put yourself in that interesting position when you let someone who has more reach kind of co-opt your message. And so for them, while he might not have been the one that started it, if it were not for him, it probably wouldn't have been as publicized as it was. And so then, you put yourself in an interesting position when you let someone else take that power of your message and you really haven't dealt with that person and said, hey, this is what we want. We're not going to end until this. And they kind of have free reign to do what they want when they want. and they're doing negotiating separate from yours. And it just speaks to something that's not, they're not the first person and won't be the last people who need someone to further their message, but you're not necessarily aligned with that person. And that's where that's a kind of a conundrum. What do? Do you keep your message small and not and don't have the reach, or do you let someone else who has a larger platform kind of be the face of it? And then when they take a misstep or do something you don't like, then you have to come in and be like, no, he doesn't speak for us. Well, you let him speak for you for a year.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that, because that's pretty much what happened in Ferguson. Like, the people who were actually boots on the ground had a vision that turned out to be different than the vision that was kind of put forth by the public people. But I mean, I don't know if we could have had the nationwide reach that we did have, like you said, if it wasn't people who kind of stood in that spotlight. But even with standing in the spotlight, I think that there's something to be said about making sure that you still keep your voice and your agenda separate. And so when they say things, you say, well, this is what they're asking for, but this is what the grassroots or whatever is asking for. So I think you can let people further the cause and further the reach without letting them speak for you per se, or making sure that you have a distinct voice separate from theirs, so that, you know, when this happens, people aren't confused about where you stand. And you can say, hey, this is what our agenda is. We're not ending until this is what happens. And then just kind of make sure that you separate what it is you're trying to do from whatever it is that the people who are, you know, reaching the larger crowds are trying to do.